Ladies and gentlemen of the class of '99.
You know, watch this video if you want to be informed of what's really happening by those that control the world. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to put some of this imagery in people's heads.
Tell your 12 to 17-year-old, get a shot.
Thousands of prizes available,
including cruises and Super Bowl tickets.
They're giving away Ford F-150 trucks. They're giving away shotguns and hunting rifles as well.
Marijuana dispensaries are giving away
joints for jabs. Krispy Kreme announcing this week a free donut. And yes, free beers.
That's right. Get a shot and have a beer.
Today could be your lucky day if you've gotten at least one COVID vaccination shot.
California's vaccine lottery.
That's right. You could win $1 million.
$1 million.
One grand winner to take home
Up to $5 million if you get vaccinated next week.
$5 million. You guys weren't expecting that one, were you?
They made it exciting, right? There's a reason people go to Vegas.
It really could be somewhat lucrative for them to get vaccinated if they aren't already persuaded.
Just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination.
If you need luck with love, dating apps are offering incentives too.
We have finally found the one thing that makes us all more attractive, a vaccination.
I don't mean to brag, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most.
Comedian Heather McDonald collapsed over the weekend during a show.
Management saying she suffered a skull fracture in the fall.
The CDC has confirmed higher than normal cases
Of heart inflammation in 16 to 24-year-olds.
You take all of the vaccines since 2010 and you compare 2021, this thing blows through the roof.
80% of the cases have been in young boys and young men.
I am in the hospital with heart complications from the COVID-19 vaccine.
The 14-year-old's heart
A
stopped.
15-year-old boy died after receiving his first dose. 16-year-old was rushed to the hospital. Loved ones say the 17-year-old's heart stopped.
The elite runner was rushed to the hospital after suffering a heart
A
attack.
high school football player has died.
Just hours after getting his second
Dose of COVID vaccine.
After collapsing on the football field.
After collapsing in the middle of the game.
Collapsing during the game.
Collapsing on the tennis court.
Suddenly collapsing.
The player collapsed.
And
Died
died.
after collapsing.
He collapsed.
He collapsed.
Seems that there's a second player who's collapsed.
This is unusual.
Never seen anything like this. Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, what's happening?
That is the big question. What caused this?
There has been a sharp rise in unexplained deaths during the
The
pandemic.
number of deaths with unknown causes has gone up over the last 3 years.
Deaths that are not listed as COVID-related.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling really dizzy.
Healthy young people are dying suddenly from a mysterious syndrome.
Sudden adult
Death syndrome. SADS is an umbrella term to describe unexpected deaths in young people.
There is some evidence that some sort of delayed reaction to COVID.
My son is dead because he took the vaccine. They're lying.
We just want help and to be heard and make things aware for others so this doesn't happen to anyone else.
We just want you guys to believe that this is real. We are real people experiencing these side effects.
Breaking news from the FDA, which has just approved the emergency use of the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11.
And we've already secured enough vaccine supply for every single child in America.
A new proposal would allow children 12 and older get vaccinated with no parental consent.
A mom in Louisiana plans to sue her son's high school after he was vaccinated at the school without parental consent.
Some new moms now quarantining from their newborns. By the end of this year, Dr. Fauci believes there will be a vaccine available for kids as young as 6 months.
And that means millions of young children can get their first dose right now.
This is like a gift from God.
Getting that shot really was an amazing feeling. It hits you.
Nobody will be safe if not everybody is vaccinated.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
What is the problem? Get over it. Come on, people, just get the shot.
And the fact that children have a preferred preference for this ideology that happens in the world, then we have a problem.
You better listen while you can listen, and you better take notes while you motherfucking can.
To have an adult apply oral suction to an infant's newly circumcised penis should be illegal.
And that those demon powers will attack your mind, and attack your body, and attack your marriage, and attack your finances, and attack your children, and attack your relationships.
At what point do we stop doubting the potentiality of high-level child trafficking and open our eyes to see it? Admittedly, when attempting to discuss the more conspiratorial aspects of this subject to close friends and family, I often get eye rolls and irrelevant concessions. I've come to realize that many of us are too scared to entertain such notions, especially from those who still believe in the mainstream media, a number much larger than you might expect. And because of this, for the foreseeable future, any reference toward the existence of elite human trafficking will remain a niche topic, and therefore never truly be investigated by the masses. In that case, it's up to people like you and I to do whatever we can to provide evidence-based analysis of human trafficking. We have to utilize our platforms as weapons against the growing tide of fear-based, media-propagated distractions and divisions. Because somewhere at this very moment, adults and children are being seen and used as commodities, clandestinely sold to the highest bidder. And I'm convinced that among the bidders exist some of the most powerful and influential people in the world. So no matter how strong the censorship gets, or how corrupt our leadership becomes, we have to continue to work together in hopes that one day, true justice will be done.
We have almost forgotten that we are in a great mortal combat.
There are like 40 nations that are attending the Zionist meeting in Israel tomorrow.
Right.
Matter of fact, Vice President Pence and Nancy Pelosi are there together in Jerusalem.
A CBS News investigation has uncovered a loophole that allows accused and convicted American pedophiles to escape justice by moving to Israel.
He is most powerful when he is denied.
Two rabbis are in jail this morning. They're accused in a kidnapping and torture plot.
Inside this business, a saw used to cut up bodies, it is believed, all taken away as evidence to the Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office, where it will be tested.
They've uncovered the largest burial site of child sacrifices in the world. The skeletal remains of at least 227 children have been found since 2016.
The former head of the Adass Israel School in Melbourne, an ultra-Orthodox institution, is wanted on 74 child sexual abuse charges in Australia, allegedly committed between 2004 and 2008.
But I'm mainly talking about the leaders who are brainwashing them and are abusing them. The people are just brainwashed.
You got to keep a low profile. If you got a fancy car, don't show off with it in front of the goyim. You want to build a beautiful house, don't make it so fancy outside so the goyish neighbors are going to say, wow, look at those wealthy Jews. Keep it inside. Keep a low profile.
You just like me because my daughter happens to be Jewish, right?
Chapter 14 and many other sources as far as this is concerned, where it's mentioned very, very vividly what will happen to the Jews and what will happen to Yerushalayim and what will happen to the world at that time, where there will be many, many people killed and so on and so forth. So the idea of having these refugees come into Europe, it's no longer a matter of whether it's right or wrong. It's just simply a fulfillment of what it was meant to be all along. This is the fulfillment of the Hazan and the prophecies. This has to happen, and this is just another sign that we are nearing, the completion of this tikkun of the entire world.
And meanwhile, all the women run up here, and each mother take the children. And as the shechita is made, take a knife and cut.
Take a knife?
Yeah.
And keep with a knife?
Yeah. Take a knife and go with and they say I don't remember the right or wrong.
Simone.
Yeah, and he said cut it and close the eyes of the children and cut. And if you have, because you have many children, then you will start with the small ones. So the big ones can understand what you're saying. And you as mothers start saying that it's very painful what you're going to do, but it's necessary because the ones that were coming are coming to take the children away. And better the children die, better have children dead than living with the boy. He said that that will be taken in account like the shechita of a pure korban.
It's called transporting a minor for illegal sexual action.
According to the FBI, after the kidnapping, there were 2 other known attempts at kidnapping the children. They charged Nachman Hellbrands and members of the Hanhala for the brazen kidnapping.
They don't want you to hear what we have to say because they're cowards. They can't engage in the argument. All they could try to do is shut us down and silence us, but it's not going to work. We're still here.
The Hanhala members charged in this multi-country operation include Nachman Hellbrands, Yaakov Weingarten, detained in Guatemala, March 2021. Shmuel and Yoel Weingarten, arrested July 2021. Meir Rosner, Yaakov Rosner, Aaron Rosner, Matisyahu, Moshe Malka, Mordechai Yoel Malka, the husband of this Weingarten sister, all arrested in the U.S.
They're giving money to abuse people, to torture people.
Absolutely. We just raised, I've told you, $400,000 for Al-Qaeda.
It's this that they fear. That's right. I don't have no army. That's right. I just know the truth. And I'm here to separate the good Jews from the satanic Jews. Yes, yes, yes!
As a nation, they'll cease to exist, even as individuals. Every individual, no survivors. Not only as a nation, they'll cease to exist, even as individuals. As goyim, they're gone. Their personality, as they exist bifnei atzmam, as they would exist independently of Klal Yisrael, they don't exist. They're done. In modern terminology, they call it cultural genocide.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
There is an evil empire in the heavenlies under the command of Satan, that there are powers and principalities that are highly organized. There is an unseen host of demonic powers that are determined to destroy you under the high command of the Prince of Darkness. He says there is a very real devil, and his objective is to rob, to kill, and to destroy.
Right. There's a lot of biblical statements about child sacrifice. What they all seem to have in mind is that child sacrifice is an attempt to sway the deity, right? To change the course of events, to persuade God through this, unthinkable act, to do something differently. And in a sense, I wonder whether child sacrifice was forbidden, again, not because it was immoral, but because it worked. Yahweh, Israel's God, tends, as far as we can tell, not to like to relinquish control. And maybe it's that child sacrifice worked too well, right? If you sacrifice your kids, Yahweh has to respond, has to sort of accept that. And that's not okay.
That the ritual sacrifice of children may have been fairly common throughout this part of the world, including ancient Israel. The burial site in Carthage belongs to a specific type that archaeologists designate with a Hebrew word, Tophet, a location described in the Bible where people would sacrifice their children as burnt offerings to various gods. It's also a word for hell.
Children who were sacrificed were often burnt in a pit called a Tophet. Drums were beaten in an attempt to conceal the child's cries. This practice was quite prevalent amongst Jews who lived in Carthage around 300 years before Christ and who worshipped Baal, another name for Lord. Even today you'll hear of a Rabbi Baal. Just do a search on the internet. When losing a battle in Syracuse, nearly 500 children were tossed into a burning Tophet as a sacrifice to Baal. Sometimes children were put in the arms of a bronze bull, which had a furnace below it, and those committing this vicious act then allowed the flames to consume the child. The level of cruelty in these cases knew no bounds. One thing that some may find rather odd is the key term used by Jews to describe their act of human sacrifice. They call it Holocaust. As surprising as this may seem to some, the word Holocaust is a Jewish word that was used to describe the act of putting a child into the flames as a sacrifice to their deity.
The sake of the children. Every generation means it too. And yet, in every generation, we practice some form of child sacrifice, whether we mean to or not. Every day, I participate in a system that is weaponizing our big, gorgeous planet against our kids.
Jews kill Christian children in order to collect their blood and use it for this curative purpose.
People who understand the Jew
and then the rest of them are in this trance of induced mental illness. They're living in a false reality. So we're living in two realities. We're living in a actual reality, and we're living under a false reality.
The Israeli government is involved in numerous internet projects. Director General of Israel's Ministry of Strategic Affairs, Sima Vaknin-Gil, told a forum of Israeli tech developers to flood the internet with pro-Israel propaganda. When she was Israel's chief censor, she said, "We censor information that is critical to our enemies, who have no capabilities like us, do not have a Jewish brain, and therefore our enemy relies to a large extent on open information." Her ministry has a budget of roughly $70 million to fight what it calls a war on consciousness terrorism. To win it, she said, Israel must use tricks and craftiness. Another Israeli entity that plays a role in covert internet activity is the Israeli military's legendary high-tech spy branch, Unit 8200. This unit is composed of thousands of cyber warriors, primarily 18 to 21 years of age, some even younger. An article in the Jewish press reports that Unit 8200 has developed a great reputation for effectiveness in intelligence gathering, including operating a massive global spy network. Numerous Israeli tech companies, many of them headed by former military intelligence officers, assist in these online spying efforts, sometimes receiving Israeli government funding for digital initiatives aimed at gathering intelligence on activist groups and countering their efforts.
And yes, I believe Israel, through their lobby, has manifested total power of the Congress of the United States. Power. And my concern is the taxpayers and the citizens of the United States should control their government, not a foreign entity.
We love Israel. We will fight for Israel 100%, 1,000%. It will be there forever.
I have said to people when they ask me, if this Capitol crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid, and I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel. Because that's fundamental to
You know, I used to say early on when I was a kid, I'd say, when I was a young senator, I'd say, if I were a Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. Were I a Jew, I would be a Zionist. And my father pointed out to me, I did not need to be a Jew to be a Zionist. For I am.
My name is Donald Trump, and I'm a big fan of Israel.
And if I'm fortunate enough to be elected president, the United States will reaffirm we have a strong and enduring national interest in Israel's security.
That our commitment to Israel's security and my commitment to Israel's security is and always will be unshakable.
The American people and the American Congress in both parties support the state of Israel.
America's commitment to Israel is absolutely unshakable. It is unquestionable.
And we must stand with Israel, which is why I support the United States' commitment to provide Israel with $38 billion in military assistance over the next decade. I am fully committing to maintaining Israel's qualitative military edge.
Shalom, Israel Republicans. I'm Governor Mike Pence. It's a great honor for Donald Trump and I to stand together with you tonight in support of Israel. And I'm deeply humbled to be speaking to you at this historic time and with all of you there in that special holy place of Jerusalem, the eternal home of the Jewish people. Over the course of this campaign, many people have asked me why our ticket stands so strongly with Israel. Donald Trump and I stand with Israel because Israel's fight is our fight, because Israel's cause is our cause, and because her fate is our fate.
I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the Prime Minister of Israel, His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu.
I want to thank you, Democrats and Republicans, for your common support for Israel, year after year, decade after decade.
Because that sounds to me like a bizarre conspiracy theory. Why would you say something like that when it's just, first of all, patently untrue?
no matter on which side of the aisle you sit, you stand with Israel. This Capitol Dome helped build our Iron Dome.
Jews are so crafty, they started a museum about Hollywood and kept their own names out of the museum about Hollywood because they knew it would give credence to everybody saying they own Hollywood. What is the greatest trick that the devil played on man? That he didn't exist. He's not real. And the Jewish supremacy, they make sure they hide it in plain sight.
We'll go with the Jewish sources. There's a ton of sources out there, but I'll stick with the Jewish ones because that's just safer.
He's chairman of the Rothschild Foundation Europe, focused on Jewish causes in Europe, and he's chairman of the Rothschild Foundation, which, through the Rothschild Collection, supports Waddesdon. And under his leadership, Jacob.
I think I'm not sure I need that. In our family, we've always tried to keep love in the family. In this sense, it was more or less understood since childhood that children would never think of marrying outside the family, so that our fortune would never leave it.
The Rothschilds became rich from cotton. I know the truth, and somebody gotta tell it or die trying.
And when I talk about the Jew, I'm talking about mainstream media, I'm talking about social media, I'm talking about the economic pressures, I'm talking about the politics of any geographical area, nation. I'm talking about the politics of any institution that you may have anything to do with and that you step into, such as academia, law enforcement, the legal system, government, civil service. They all function under the same deviant Jew politics.
Why doesn't this Jewish racist protest the segregation of non-Jews that goes on in Israel in housing, whole towns, settlements, schools, and businesses, and even in the occupied territories that they stole from the Palestinians? Why won't the media expose Israel?
Bilderberg Group is a meeting of the most influential people in Europe and North America. Wall Street investors, business moguls, politicians, royalty. They're all coming together and keeping the media and everyone else out.
Security was tight today at the Grove Hotel in this leafy area north of London. 140 members of the global elite arrived here for a top-secret, hush-hush, off-the-record conference in the English countryside. How's this for a guest list? The head of the International Monetary Fund, former Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner, the heads of Amazon.com, Google, and BP Oil, former General and CIA Director David Petraeus, and what's a top-secret cabal of puppet masters without Henry Kissinger?
To control the world. Doesn't that sound fucking preposterous? And we all wish that it was. See, they don't know the Jew. They don't know what tikkun olam means.
They were doing a study where they were taking the scalps of 5-month-old aborted babies and they were grafting them onto lab rats and lab mice to see how much longer they could keep them growing for. And you can actually see the photographs in the published study of little baby scalps grafted onto the backs of lab rats, growing little baby hairs. Those would have been the little hairs growing on the heads of little infants. Did anybody at Dr. Fauci's office ever ask the researchers at Pittsburgh, hey, how are you getting those scalps? How are you getting whole scalps from the heads of fetuses?
Where cases of child sexual abuse are covered up or rushed through or somehow quashed in some way. What is less discussed are the kinds of religious teachings and policies and doctrines that actually enable this type of maltreatment to occur.
This still leaves quite a number, 400,000 children, the equivalent of over 1,000 children per day, go missing. Of course, it seems likely that many may have run away from their homes and others may be abandoned. But what happened to the others? Some of these children are kidnapped and never seen again. This occurs to at least several thousand a year. And what happens to them? Are they abducted by predators? Please keep a close eye on your children. In particular, watch out for the events of Passover, Purim, and Hanukkah. Do not let your children wander far away, particularly in areas visited by Jews during their Jewish holidays. There is a dark matter still in the world today. It is something that is perhaps older than written language itself, human ritual sacrifice. And it has been something for which Jewish extremists have often been accused of throughout time. Understandably, since it's not an everyday topic, many people are highly skeptical of this bizarre accusation that has burdened the Jewish people for at least 2,000 years. After all, why would fanatical Jews in the past, and perhaps even to this very day, commit human sacrifice? Many people do not like to even think about the topic, believing it to be just pure, unadulterated, anti-Jewish propaganda. And likewise, the Jews themselves are quick to say that such claims are lies, which have been handed down through the centuries. However, there are two sides to this issue. One side believes Jewish ritual murder is not merely anti-Jewish propaganda, but a fact. One that has had a terrible impact on society since it began. Perhaps some viewers may doubt what is uncovered in this video, but an honest glimpse into this matter may make you think. Likewise, an in-depth and fair examination will make most skeptics into true believers. It is true that many of the people who conducted research into these matters were branded by Jews with the epithet of anti-Semite, a term that it seems is used by Jews to stifle discussion on any topic that criticizes them. It was the fact that human sacrifice was practiced by Jews that caused many of these people to become anti-Semites. After uncovering the secret among the Jewish cult in times past, how could a Gentile feel otherwise? After all, it is not the anti-Semite who commits the foul act of human sacrifice, now commonly referred to as Jewish ritual murder, yet Jews sought to make the Gentiles who reported these crimes appear worse than the Jews who committed them. What makes these crimes stand out apart from other cruel acts committed by man against man in the past? The answer to this question is not a pretty one. Based on numerous reports from the past to modern times, the main difference is the degree of cruelty. Reports say children sacrificed in Jewish occult rites were tortured to death in the most cruel and heartless ways imaginable. After the ceremony, Jews reportedly dried the child's blood, often absorbing it into paper, for their various occult rites. Aside from claims of Jewish ritual murder being carried out in an extremely vicious manner, there's one other difference that sets this crime apart from others. When such crimes are uncovered, not only the local Jewish groups, but Jews from all over the entire world seek to conceal it. In the past, Jews have even set aside a special fund to cover up such acts. However, By doing this, they become, as the police might say, an accessory after the fact. From time to time, there have been brave and honest Jews who would deviate from their kinsfolk and admit to the truth of these crimes. While such honesty was not common amongst Jews, it still occurred on occasions. For this reason alone, a blanket indictment against all Jews cannot be made. Indeed, some Jews, young and old, have admitted these crimes in front of court. In the year 1144, an incident occurred to a child in England that would make history and the Jews not easily forgotten. It had been just a little over 50 years since Jews were first permitted to enter England in 1089. A small number of them had just been brought to England in an effort to assist the king with collecting his taxes. Consequently, as the town discovered to their dismay, a child by the name of William was ritually murdered. But what made this event different was that this child was related to an educated monk, Thomas of Monmouth, in an effort to extract the child's blood. In 1574, Lithuania, in the village of Puna, the Jews reportedly tortured and then murdered a baby for occult rites. In 1598, in Lublin, in Kol, and Kutnia, Poland, it was reported that Jews tortured 3 babies in those 3 cities,
were reportedly made in a ritualistic manner. A summation of Rosanov's findings shall follow. In the Kabbalah, there is a Sephirothic tree that is made up of 4 worlds. Pictured here is one world. Each world has 10 spheres, which are connected via 22 channels, with these channels corresponding to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Going from Sephiroth 8, honor or glory, one would take channel 21, which corresponds to the Hebrew letter Shin, to arrive at Sephiroth 10, the kingdom. The letter Shin then implies that for Jews to use such symbology in the placement of stab wounds during their ritual murder, it is thus done to honor the Jewish deity and to attain the Jewish kingdom over the world. Reports were made of Jews murdering children. Approximately 100 irate Irishmen, accompanied by the local police, broke into a synagogue to save the victim. It's unclear whether they were able to save a child. Oprah asked the woman, "This is the first time I've heard of any Jewish people sacrificing babies. But anyway, so you witnessed the sacrifice?" Rachel responded, "Right. When I was young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant." When Oprah Winfrey asked if other Jews had engaged in such practices, Rachel responded, "There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my family." Rachel then proceeded to mention other relatives, doctors, policemen, council members, and so forth, who had also reportedly engaged in this cult activity. A year later, in 1990, Rachel again bravely stepped forward and admitted that this terrible deed had occurred, as noted in the March 1990 issue of Cult Watch Response. Recently, I had enough courage to share some of my story. I revealed that I am a Jewish survivor of a multi-generational family who practiced human sacrifice and cannibalism. It seems likely that if the transgenerational Jewish ritual murder cult has survived, that such actions would most likely occur in Israel, where many fanatical Jews reside. Romania, Germany, Italy, Poland, United States, Egypt, Syria, Portugal, Jordan, France, Russia, Austria, Spain. Nearly every civilization in the entire world has reported the crime of Jewish ritual murders. Has the entire world been involved in a massive conspiracy against Jews? Or have some fanatical Jews been engaged in a conspiracy against all non-Jews? Quite frankly, it seems to be the latter. There does seem to be an ancient relationship between Jews and occultism in the past, up to this very day. As surprising as it may be, the founder of modern-day Satanism, Anton LaVey, is Jewish. Also, Lord Egan, who is a leader of satanic cult, is also Jewish. If you look at the satanic pentagram with the demon Baphomet in the center, an imaginary demon from ancient times, you'll see Hebrew characters that surround it as well. Why don't we hear more about these crimes? Well, That is a fair question. The truth of the matter might also surprise some here today. Jews control the media for the most part. Jews say that such talk is merely hateful anti-Semitism, but it is not. Rather, it is a fact with which we must deal. As early as 1916, we see well-respected Thomas Burbage write that by means of the press the Jews control and their great wealth, Jews are able to stifle any impartial investigation into ritual murder. One need only to search the internet to find the validity that Jews, for the most part, do control the press, and television, and radio too, for that matter. As noted previously, Jews try to suppress any talk about Jewish ritual murder. This includes even other Jewish news sources that mention this, and even when it might be only a vague reference. For example, in 1996, Newsweek merely used the term blood libel in an article. The article was called A New Kind of Blood Libel. It was not about Jews committing ritual murders, but about Israelis mishandling black Jews' blood.
My name is Montague William III, and what I will tell you may well sound absurd, but the less who believe it, the better for me. For you see, I'm in banking and a big industry. For many a year we have controlled your lives, while you all just struggle and suffer in strife. We created the things that you don't really need, your sports cars and fashions and plasma TVs. I remember it clearly how all this begun. Family secrets from father to son, inherited knowledge that gives me the edge, while you people lie sleeping at night in your beds. We control the money that controls your lives, whilst you worship false idols and wouldn't think twice about selling your souls for a place in the sun. These things that won't matter when your time is done. But as long as they're there to control the masses, I just sit back and consider my assets, safe in the knowledge that I have it all, while you common people are losing your jobs. You see, I just hold you in utter contempt. But the smile on my face, well, it makes me exempt. For I have the weapon of global TV, which gives us connection and invites empathy. You would really believe that we look out for you, while we bankers and brokers are only a few. But if you saw that, you'd take back the power. Hence, daily terrors to make you all cower. The panics, the crashes, the wars, and the illness that keep you from finding your spiritual wholeness. We rig the game, and we buy out both sides to keep you enslaved in your pitiful lives. So, go out and work as your body clock fades. And when it's all over, a few years from the grave, you'll look back on all this, and just then you'll see that your life was nothing, a mere fantasy. There are very few things that we don't now control. To have lawyers and police force was always a goal, doing our bidding while you march on the street. But they never realize that they're only just sheep. For real power resides in the hands of a few. You voted for parties. What more could you do? But what you don't know is they're one and the same. Old Gordon has passed good old David the reins, and you'll follow the leader who was put there by you. But your blood, it runs red, while our blood runs blue. But you simply don't see it's all part of the game. Another distraction, like money and fame. Get ready for wars in the name of the free, vaccinations for illness that will never be, the assault on your children's impressionable minds, and a microchipped world. You'll put up no fight. Information suppression will keep you in tow. Depopulation of peasants was always our goal. But eugenics was not what we hoped it would be. Oh yes, it was us that funded Nazis. But as long as we own all the media too, what's really happening does not concern you. So just go on watching your plasma TV, and the world will be run by the ones you can't see.
That Trump is the best thing happened ever to us.
Huh?
That he is the magician of the highest order. That he is there in his irrational mind to create confusion in order that the human being can find new order. And you know, it's not so stupid thinking about this in that way. It's completely turning things upside down. Because since Trump is around, things are changing. Because we are waking up.
Like, the media really does lie to you. There really are powerful predators out there, and there really is a global pedophile ring that ritually abuses kids.
When the time comes, are you really going to let somebody keep you from what God gave you? And I'm not just talking about nature. I'm talking about your family, your children, your parents. All of this, it doesn't belong to them. No matter what they say, no matter what they try to do, it does not belong to them, though they want it for themselves. It's time that you and I stand together and we take back what's ours.